Hey everybody, welcome to another midweek moment. Rain, right? I'm recording this on Tuesday, and throughout the entire day it's been raining on and off since I got up this morning and headed out for my run, beat back the rain by a couple of minutes, and I tell you, I laughed for joy because we so desperately need rain right now. Man, look at my yard. I haven't mowed my yard in a month. And a lot of the farmers, they are begging, they are praying for rain. And today, we're getting it. It poured this morning, and it's been sprinkling on and off throughout the day. I don't know. Sky looks a little overcast right now. It might pour on me while I'm recording this with you, but you know what? I don't care. A couple of weeks ago, my son, knowing that it hadn't rained, seeing the ground shrivel and dry up, said, "Daddy, are we in a drought?" And I didn't know how to answer him because we're not there yet, but at that point in time, we really desperately needed rain. And I'm so happy today to see the rain that we've gotten. And I can tell you who else is happy. The plants behind me, the corn, the farmers, they're soaking all of it up. You know, the truth is, we go through dry spells and droughts in our life. You know, we go through this on a physical level. You can even look at scripture, and the story I'm preaching to this weekend is about Elijah and his ministry. And early on in Elijah's ministry, he went to Queen Jezebel and King Ahab, and he said, "There's going to be a drought in the land. There's going to be no rain for 3 years." Now, we pretty much haven't had much rain over the last few weeks, but can you imagine a few years of that? And yet the reason behind the physical drought was because there was also a spiritual drought in the land. The people were not seeking God in their lives anymore. Their hearts had dried up and shriveled, and so that showed itself externally amongst their land. And I think that there are times in our lives too where we find ourselves experiencing dry spells in our spiritual lives. And for whatever reason this might be, it might be difficulties that we're going through, it might be sin that's unrepented of in our lives, it might be because we're simply not turning to Scripture in our lives. But we find ourselves going through dry spells, and that makes our lives difficult. But in the midst of these last few weeks, which have been dry, I've learned something. I had a conversation with one of our members, and she shared with me, you look at the corn, and look at the way that it's made. It has its leaves, and the leaves reach out, and they grab for every little bit of moisture that they can get. And so even if it hasn't rained, if it's been a humid day, and there's dew on it, it collects all of those drops and it funnels it down into the plant. And I think that's something that we can all learn from in our lives. When we find ourselves going through dry spells, when we don't feel as close to God in our lives, do we extend our arms? Do we open our minds and our hearts as if to say, "God, come, I need you in my life right now. Fill me, quench my thirst." You know, David did this in his life in Psalm 63. When he found himself going through a dry spell, these are the words that he wrote. And it actually says that he wrote this when he was in the desert of Judah, going through a difficult time in his life. He said, "Oh God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you. My soul longs for you in a dry and parched land where there is no water." You know, even though He was living in a land of dryness and drought around him. He didn't allow his soul to be dried out. He opened himself up to receive everything that God had for him. God, I'm seeking you. And that's my prayer this week. As we've received this rain, as we're grateful for it, that we continue to open ourselves up to seek the Lord and to receive all that he has for us. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. I'm going to go get to a place where I can stay dry, but my soul is quenched, and I pray that yours is as well. I'll see you again.